Well, Detroit Lions fans, I have an excellent story for you today. And not only are we going to kind of jump right into it, but let's jump into the way, way back machine and head down memory lane for just a few moments. Back to 1957. That's right. This was the season your Detroit Lions last won the NFL's league championship, better known as the Super Bowl today. When I tell you that there's undeniable proof that the Lions' destiny is upon us and that the stars couldn't have aligned any more perfectly than what they have right now, there's history to back it up. And that is what we're going to discuss right now. I'm going to be reading from the story that I wrote, and I'm blending kind of an MLive article by Benjamin Raven that came out, some NFL Hall of Fame history, some facts, some stats. And I want to give you a much better storyline of what I call the undeniable proof that the Lions' destiny is real, and it's real right now. All right, so let's start with the fact that the 49ers have dominated the series with the Detroit Lions. Between these two teams, 49ers hold it 39-28-1 with a regular season record. The 49ers have also dominated recent years with the Lions winning only one time in the last 12 meetings. The Lions have only won one time in the last 12 meetings. We're going to change that on Sunday. But this Sunday's matchup will only mark the third time that these two teams have faced off in the postseason. And currently they are split 1-1 in postseason play, 1957, 1983. And here we are in 2024 for that third time. We are 66 years removed. Well, the season is 66 years removed from the 1957 championship, the Lions' last league championship, as I mentioned earlier. And for the newer NFL fans out there, this was not a Super Bowl, but it was the equivalent to what is the modern day Super Bowl era that did not officially begin until 1967. But this is where the interesting story begins. The Lions are facing a very familiar opponent to the one in 1957, one that the Lions had to defeat in the Western Conference title game on December 22nd, 1957, to make the league championship round. That team was none other than the San Francisco 49ers. This was also the last win on the road for the Detroit Lions in the playoffs. So all the years, not many, that we've been to the playoffs since 1957, we have never won on the road. That was the last season. But the Lions traveled to what was known as Kazar Stadium to take on the 49ers in a matchup that is still ranked today as the 76th best game ever in the NFL top 100 games of all time. It's also the only game featuring the Detroit Lions in the top 100. The 49ers opened up the second half of that game, extending their lead by a field goal, or with a field goal, going up 27-7 against the Lions. But that was the last time the 49ers scored that day, as the Lions defense and what was a very potent rushing attack powered the Lions to another epic win in their stretch of dominance through the 50s. That's right. Our Lions are a pretty dominant team back in the 50s. We had players by the name of Tom the Bomb Tracy, who hadn't carried the ball in the previous 4 games to that matchup. And he filled in for the banged up duo of Howard Hopalong Cassidy and John Henry Johnson. And Tracy led the charge, man, with 2 third-quarter touchdown runs. The first came on a 1-yard plunge, and the second via a 58-yard scamper to bring the Lions within 6 points. 27-21, 49ers were up. But your Detroit Lions, man, they fought hard. They eventually took the lead, and their defense took care of business, creating 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter. They added a late field goal to pad their lead, and then the defense stifled the 49ers as they advanced to what was the NFC Championship League round. The story of destiny, though, gets a little bit more weird. And that's that the Lions took on a team in that league championship game that was known then as the Browns. Now, the Lions won this game, which is our most recent league championship in Lions history. We smoked the Browns 59-14. The Lions' third title in 6 seasons. Like I said, dominant in the 50s. But there is an interesting twist or story that is brewing here. Many of you probably don't know this. And honestly, I didn't remember this until today. But the Browns, that were purchased by Art Modell in 1961, opted to move their team to Baltimore in 1995. After what was a tenuous fight with the city and the fans and a legal battle that was ensuing, the Browns did in fact move to Baltimore, and the Ravens were born. When the Lions beat the 49ers and the Ravens beat the Chiefs on Sunday, the Lions will be repeating history by taking on and beating the final two opponents that they did in 1957 to win our most recent league championship. But this time, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Lastly, I'm going to top off this weird bit of history that the first ever home game for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and Brad Holmes in this new era was against none other than the San Francisco 49ers, week 1 of the 2021 season at home in Detroit. The Lions lost 40-33, but don't let that score fool you. The Lions really didn't have a chance in this game. And we're a much better team, much different team today than we were back then. And while it was one of many losses that season, it was that loss that set the tone for what this franchise wanted to be about. And that was grit and resiliency. Your brand new Detroit Lions were born, and destiny is literally staring at us right in the face. That undeniable proof that history matters. And it's happening right now. All right, y'all. Go in pride. Go Detroit Lions. I can't wait to be there on Sunday at Levi Stadium. It's going to be an epic showdown, and one that I'm expecting our Detroit Lions to remain victorious for our third playoff win heading to the Super Bowl. We'll see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.